Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be finishing up the chassis portion of this build, and that's just getting us one step closer to being done and getting this thing out and enjoying it. I'm very happy with the build so far. It's very quality parts. So in today's video, you're going to see I did have a couple of issues trying to get camera angles just right. I have looked into a few things that's going to help me in the future with better camera angles and a better camera, so just bear with me and we'll get through it. And this has been such a fun journey already, and I've just enjoyed talking to you all on the different platforms that I have posted this on. So thank you everybody for your feedback, and I really appreciate you stopping by. So let's get into it. So let's go ahead and get these links built. And looking over the instructions, I really like that they have a one-to-one diagram here. That way you're not having to go off measurements and things like that. So you'll just lay your bar in, and it's going to tell you right here that you're going to need to take the rod in and screw this all the way in to where there's no threads. So you'll go ahead and screw that on. Screw your other side on. Which I don't have this fancy pliers, so I'm just going to go ahead and use my Old Faithfuls here. And you're going to end up screwing these all the way in on both sides. So I'm going to do that real quick and I'll be right back with you guys. Let's go ahead and get these drive shafts knocked out of the way. So as you can see, I got gloves on for this one. Some of these parts do come in a bag that has like a protective coating that'll keep these items from rusting, getting debris on them, things like that. So I went ahead and I got it mapped out how this side's going to be assembled. So we'll go ahead and start. I'm going to go ahead and put a dab of black grease onto the shaft. I'm not going to use much at all. Then we'll take this. It's kind of an eyelet, and we're going to slide it through here. Now, just like I did last time, once I get it in there, I'm going to rotate it back and forth to work that grease around inside. And then we're going to take our coupling, slide it over, and there's going to be a hole here, and that's for one of our pins. And you're just going to slide that through the hole, just like that. Make sure it sets nice and flush there. And then you're going to take your end cap and it'll just slide over top of it like so. Now we're going to take and slide this over, and this is slotted just like the bottom. So we'll go ahead and slide that over, take our screw here, and I'm going to put a dab of Loctite on here. Feed it in through the shaft. And tighten it up. I'm going to take this off just so it doesn't fall out while I'm trying to do this. So now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So we'll go ahead, we'll take our screw, small dab of Loctite, feed it through the drive shaft, take our squared in, rectangle, sorry, go ahead and screw those together like that. And now we're going to take our grease, put it onto our pin. A little goes a long way. So then we'll take this, slide it through. We're going to rotate it around, make sure it gets all over everything. And then You'll rotate it until the hole's at the top. Slide your cap in. Place your there we go. So now it's flush, and then we're going to set this over. And all you're going to do is take your center, slide it in, and those are keyed as well. And there we go. Completed drop shaft. So I'll go ahead and knock the other one out, and I'll be right back. So next up, it looks like we're going to go ahead and be putting our drop shafts in and our lower link bars. So we'll go ahead and get that started here. Just want to make sure that they are the same length. Sometimes one will be longer than the other. Now I'm going to take this off and find my hole here and find the bigger hole on the cap. Slide that over. So now I know where it's at. I'll slide this on. I'll add a little bit of Loctite to this. Now we'll take our rear, find the side with our screw hole, which is this side. It's got threads in it. And this is our bigger side on the cap. Go ahead and place this on. And get my screw and add some Loctite. Oop, I dropped it. Whoops. And now that part's done, and you can just slide these back in if they do fall out, but for now I'm going to leave them down while I work on the rest of the truck. So let's go ahead and get these last two installed. I went ahead and done these two off camera to be quicker, but I wanted you to see how they work and which direction you need to put them. So what you're doing is you're going to take 4 of these set screws, and you're going to place them through here on the bigger hole of the 2 on each side, and you'll go ahead and run them down a little ways. That way when you get your rod end set into place where it needs to be, I actually put this one a little too far. Alright, so now we got that in there. Moves freely. So then you'll flip it over, and you're going to do the same with the front. And we're good with that. So let's move on to that next part. One step closer to getting this truck done, guys. Well, this part with assembling the chassis rails, I've found that it is kind of hard for me to get it all on camera, so I did start assembling a few things on one side. I went ahead and installed the front bumper mount. This is going to hold the servo winch, or you could use it for your chassis mount servo as well. And here is your panhard mount. You have one screw that goes from the inside of the chassis into it, and then one from the outside that'll bolt into this. So right now I am looking at the sliders, and it looks like we're going to take this small piece that's in one of the bags and slide it through there like that. And there's only 2 holes on the slider for that to go into, so you don't have to worry about trying to find that. Now this is going to be your battery strap. So there's that piece installed. So So the first thing I'm going to do on this chassis is go ahead and I'm going to install the 2 body mounts, and those will go into the 2 front holes. There is a extra mount that comes with the chassis, and that mount is going to be used for anybody who's wanting to use like a SUV body of any type. So with me, I'm going to be going with a truck body, so I'm going to go ahead and just install the 4 regular posts. Alright, so I do want to say that I did find a mistake I made in the last video. So I wanted to go ahead and point that out and apologize for that. But I had this motor plate flipped around the other way. So when I tried to set it up against the frame, it was sticking way out here and nowhere near bolting up on the bottom. So when you're doing this, just make sure that axial on the top is facing you and is up top. So I do apologize, guys, but for this part we're going to be installing our transmission assembly and our skid to the chassis. So I'm going to try to get this done where I'm able to have it all in the camera's view, but I am struggling, guys, and that's just something that's going to come with time, learning better camera positions, and I do plan on getting a better camera soon, but I just wanted to really make sure that people would be interested in watching me do these type of builds and what I love for a hobby. I want other people to see, and maybe they can get into it and enjoy it like we do. So just be patient with me, guys, and I promise it'll get straightened out and I'll do a lot better for you. Better quality too. I feel like I've been getting a little bit better with the editing and things like that, so we'll just keep pushing it video by video. So we're gonna go ahead and put these 2 all the way in. Now when you're assembling a chassis like this, you do not want to go through and just tighten everything up. You want it to be a little bit loose so you have leeway and the ability to move it if you need to. So once you get those 2 screws in here, there is going to be 2 more on the lower part of the frame here. So now once we get that done, we're going to go ahead and put a screw in. Let's go ahead and install this skid plate on this side. So again, on your skid plate, there's going to be 3 slots here, and we're going to be picking the center slot. And then in this group, it'll be your center hole on the 2nd row. So we'll slide that on through, flip it over, take your link, put a bolt or a nut on the back side of it, and then this is what you would put your wheels on with. I'll just go it'll hold it still for me while I do the other part. So what I've done, since I've been having issues trying to get a good camera angles, I went ahead and put in each one of these screws for this side of the chassis, but I left them undone so that way I could show you where they go. And you're going to have a pin in the front of this bumper mount, and then your screw is going to go directly behind that. Then you're going to have these 2 that go into your servo mount. These two go into your motor plate to add support there. You got two down here that's going into your skid. And then you're going to have two here going into your rear chassis brace. One here going into your rear bumper bracket. And that'll pretty much do it. Once you install this side's slider, you're going to go ahead and run a longer screw through the first hole there, and then you're going to add your link mount, or your link, sorry, for that. So let me tighten these up and we'll get on to the next step. Next step, we're going to go ahead and be installing our front steering linkage. So we'll go ahead and get this pushed through into the hub. Take our now we got those two attached, and this will run to the servo that'll be mounted here. Your other side's going to come over and be mounted here. There's that. So now we got a pretty much completed front axle. Let's see if I can get this on video for you guys. Right now I'm trying to install the rear axle. So now the two uppers are in. Let's go ahead and get this other shock installed. So what you're going to need is you're going to need two screws. One will be longer, and this one is going to feed through the bottom of your shock, and it's going to run after you get your link lined up in the shackle. Like so. This will feed all the way through your shock and through the bracket. I'm gonna go ahead and start it. So now what we're going to do when we're placing our top on is there's going to be different shock adjustments on the frame here, and I'm going to be installing it in the fourth slot from the bottom here. So we're going to unscrew our nut, feed the screw through the top of our shock, and we're going to place that through the fourth hole. Flip the truck over, install the nut from the inside of the frame. Remember when you're putting this your shocks on, that on the top there's going to be a spacer, and you're going to make sure that that is in between the frame and the shock. That way it gives you clearance as it's going through. These shocks do not have fluid in them right now, but I plan on doing that when I install the electronics. Go ahead and get our wheel hexes installed. So on your wheel hex, you're going to have a small hole here, and then there's going to be a bigger hole, which is where your small set screw is going to go through. So we're going to go ahead, and there's a hole inside through the axle here. We're just going to go ahead and set our hex over, push our screw through. And there's that. So once we do that, we can go ahead and install our wheel nut. And this one's done, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll see you guys when I get to the back, because there's one more step back there. For the rear it's pretty much the same as the front, but we just got one extra step, and that's placing one of our small spacers in to the housing. All it does is slide over and it drops right in. Take your rear hex, find your hole, and feed in the screw, the set screw. Tighten it up with your 1.5. And install your wheel nut, and that's done. So I'll go ahead and throw this other side on, and we will get to the next step, guys. Here we have a tree that has all different types of body posts on them. For right now, I'm just gonna put on the ones that come with the kit. So all they are is just one small piece that will set straight into the body post. And then you're going to take your set screw, put it in the side that's bigger for the threads. Once that starts, so there we go, we're done with that. And I went ahead and installed the bumpers, and what you're going to do is flip the truck over. Once you slide it in, you're going to have a spot here and here for set screws, but I went ahead and installed those. So pretty much we've got the chassis completed. I'll get a few shots of it here in just a minute, and then the next video we're going to start installing our electronics. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and like I said in the beginning, I did have some problems trying to get the correct camera angles, but it will get better over time. But I hope you guys did enjoy this build process, and the next one we're going to go ahead and start installing our electronics, building our wheels, putting our new tires on. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.